Thank you, Madam Chair, and I want to thank the witnesses for your testimony today and for your commitment and dedication to what you do. Dr. Seidel, we appreciate you being here and thank you for the work you do at University of Illinois with our program there. And I wanted to just follow up a little bit on your reference to the private sector partner program, and you referenced Caterpillar and some of the other companies that you work with. In terms of kind of the real world effects of that, in terms of product design, competitiveness, and the iForge project, can you talk a little bit more about that? And I guess as a follow-up, do you think we're doing enough to highlight what we do in the private sector and making people aware of that? And is there room to grow there?
So yeah, thank you for the question. Just a little bit of background. As I mentioned, we have many private sector partners that are focused on using computing to advance their business. And we have a specifically dedicated computing system called iForge that is just for industrial use. So they really use that facility in the way that they want to. So we operate it for them. They're members of our program. And so they not only use the facility, but they use the staff and the expertise, just as important or more important than the facility, because computers come and go in fairly short timescales, is the incredible scientific and computing expert staff that we maintain. And all the centers, I'm sure, would say the same thing. That's the most important aspect. So they are part of the teams that work with industry, and industry then provides problems for us to work on, whether it's scaling their codes, that they're doing things like engine design or pharmaceutical design and so on. We help them scale their codes up to larger and larger processor counts. And so if they want to graduate, say, from the iForge machine, which is much smaller, to a Blue Waters machine, which allows them to do things that they couldn't do anywhere else, including in their own homegrown computing facilities where they just don't have facilities like that. The Blue Waters machine is a $200 million facility. Then we help them make that scaling, make that jump. Another thing that we're doing, though, we're seeing increasingly there is the concern about big data, and they're very, very focused on big data. And so there's a new NSF program called the Big Data Hub, which I'm the PI of for the so-called Midwest Big Data Hub. It'll be announced next week. And it is about private-public partnerships. And we have many, many companies, state organizations, cities, as well as academic organizations all working together on this.
Thank you. Dr. Hager, I wanted to, you referenced earlier, I guess in the last set of questions about Japan. In terms of U.S. leadership and where we are with competitiveness in the world when it comes to supercomputing, can you talk a little bit about how we rank worldwide and you know, where we're at in terms of our competitiveness and looking to the future a little bit and what we need to do to stay where we're at or to improve?
Well, thank you for the question. As I'm sure you know, we no longer nationally have the fastest supercomputer in the world. That happens to be in China right now. And as I said, there are other nations investing in greater computing capacity. So I think it is an important area for the field broadly to invest in, not just because of what it enables in science, but also what it enables in technology research. So many of the advances that we see in the broader computing field often start in the high-performance computing field and trickle down. The other opportunity I'd like to highlight is that as we develop more and more advanced machines, often the challenge is to actually achieve the highest possible performance on those machines. And there are some very interesting and very fundamental computing research problems simply to take advantage of the resources we have as well as building greater resources.
And I guess is there, in terms of being, you know, continuing on the path we're on or moving up to compete with China, I mean, is that strictly a resource issue or is that, are there other factors that relate to that?
Well, certainly, resources are important. We can't succeed without applying substantial resources. The technical issues involved in developing the next generation of computing, however, are really quite amazing when you start to think about, for example, what it would take to build a so-called exascale computing engine. There are fundamental physical limitations that we're running up against. There are architectural limitations that we run up against. It's not clear that the current technologies that we have, or in fact it is clear the current technologies we have simply won't scale. And so it's a matter of resources, but resources applied broadly to achieve breakthroughs in several areas. in order to advance computing to the next level.
And last question, do you think we're prepared to go to that next level currently?
Certainly we have, I think, nationally the capability to go to that level, the people resources capability to go to that level. I think it's a matter of investment, focus, and strategic planning to achieve that next set of performance levels.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I now recognize Mr. Hultgren for 5 minutes.